Ever wonder what the most expensive neighborhoods are in Chula Vista? Some of them might surprise you. In this video, we'll get into the top 5 most expensive neighborhoods within the Chula Vista area. Welcome to Life in Chula Vista. This channel is all about living in Chula Vista and the surrounding areas. My name is Timothy Manglicmot. I'm a local realtor in Chula Vista. In this video, I'm going to cover the top 5 most expensive neighborhoods in Chula Vista. You may disagree with me, and if you do, definitely leave a comment. Happy to respond to those, and we can discuss it from there. But I'm going to be ranking these based on the higher end homes of every neighborhood. That's generally going to mean if a home or a bunch of homes are around $2 million or more, your neighborhood will probably be on this list. If there's one, house in the neighborhood where the houses are a little bit more cheaper, that probably won't appear on the list. This is, again, generally going to be for clusters of houses where there's $2 million or more for the price of those houses. So if your neighborhood has a section of these really high price houses, it's probably going to make it on this list. So let's get into the top 5 most expensive neighborhoods within Chula Vista. Hey, real quick, if you're looking to buy or sell a home in Chula Vista or anywhere within San Diego, I am a local realtor. I am a local to the area. I was born and raised here in San Diego and within Chula Vista. We have a lot of local connections and a lot of ways that we can try to either help you save money if you purchase a home or maximize your sale if you're looking to sell a home. My contact information will be in the description below. I'm happy to call, text, email, or you could even set up a calendar invite, whatever works for you. And I'd love to see how I can help. And if you just had any questions, I'm happy to talk to anybody. So definitely give me a contact or a shout out in my contact information below. All right, so let's get into it here. Tied at number 5 is the Hilltop neighborhood, which is kind of on the east side of Chula Vista. Now, the Hilltop neighborhood does have a pretty wide spectrum of houses within that neighborhood. Houses range anywhere from about $500,000 all the way up to $2 million. And kind of in this video, I'm going to talk about those houses that are $2 million or more. The average house in Hilltop is about $850,000. So $2 million or more kind of is definitely on the higher end of the Hilltop neighborhood. So for those who don't know the Hilltop neighborhood or just aren't as familiar with it, it is going to be one of the older neighborhoods within the broader Chula Vista. And again, on the east side, you'll find your newer homes. On the west side will be a little bit older homes. And then the Hilltop homes were built around about 1957-ish. So again, they'll definitely be a little bit older than your typical home that you'll find on the east side. We're talking here about the houses on the $2 million range that ranked Hilltop number 5. And those houses will be found kind of in that Sunny Vista area within Hilltop. Now, a lot of these neighborhoods for the high-end homes, just on this list in general, will have gated communities. So I'm going to touch on that because Hilltop, while some of these houses that are in $2 million or more do have gates, Hilltop in and of itself in that Sunny Vista area within Hilltop isn't gated. So again, some of these neighborhoods will have gates. Hilltop doesn't, but some of these individual houses do. So for these $2 million houses, these are generally going to be about 4 to 5 bedrooms, 3 to 4 baths. And then these houses will be about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, kind of in these neighborhoods, which is much larger than normal. These are definitely houses that are big. Some of these Hilltop homes could be considered mansions, so they're definitely humongous houses. They're huge lots within Hilltop, within these houses. So it's not only just the square feet of these houses that make it big, but these houses generally also do have really, really big lots. Or a lot of them will have pools and just really nice backyards and areas just to walk around. The Hilltop area is known for more established homes and businesses. And then kind of in this number, tied for number 5 with Hilltop, schools in this area are pretty decent, I would say. The Hilltop High School is rated at about a 7 on grade school, so it's rated pretty highly. Okay, and then tied at number 5 with Hilltop is going to be the Bonita Long Canyon area or neighborhood within Chula Vista. Houses here generally range from anywhere about $800,000 to $2 million, but the average house here is about $1.2 million, so it's a little bit higher than the Hilltop area. But again, this neighborhood does rank tied at number 5 because just like Hilltop, the higher end of this range of houses is going to be in the $2 million range. So this neighborhood is considered to be part of East Chula Vista, but it's not as east as some of the other houses on this list. Um, for those who don't know the Bonita Long Canyon area within Chula Vista, this area is pretty interesting. They're going to be a little bit older homes on the east side of Chula Vista. Uh, it's definitely known for kind of just elevated, areas. Like a lot of these houses are built on top of hills, so you'll see some pretty good, just pretty nice panoramic views, and just in general in these houses in the neighborhood, since a lot of them are elevated. Um, in this neighborhood, just as a realtor, you just find that there's a lot of just longtime owners, and people in this area who've just been there for a long time, and they're kind of more established in this area, um, and I guess for that reason, houses on in this market generally don't go on sale that often for whatever reason, just because I think there's some people who've been in this neighborhood just for a pretty long time and like to stay around in this neighborhood. Um, Bonita Long Canyon at number 5 is also not a gated community. Again, you might find some gated houses within Bonita Long Canyon, but you won't find much. This area, especially for the $2 million houses, it is more open. So if you're looking in this price range of houses, and you want a little bit more privacy, you're not going to find that in terms of just gated communities within here. Houses within Bonita Long Canyon were built around 1989, which it probably means that the HOAs and community facility district taxes are going to be a lot lower than what you'll find kind of in the newer communities. But if you're looking to live in this neighborhood, you might not care about that as much. Um, these houses, similar to Hilltop, will be about 4 to 5 bedrooms, 3 to 4 baths. You won't find as many, quote unquote mansions in this neighborhood. But there are definitely some pretty big, large, houses and lots again in this neighborhood. A lot of these houses will be your typical, East Chula Vista Spanish style architecture. So your kind of red roofs in terms of the Spanish style architecture. But there are also some pretty just nice craftsman style homes within this neighborhood within Chula Vista. So definitely in that $2 million range on the higher end, that ranks this neighborhood at number 5 in Bonita Long Canyon. You could find some pretty nice looking properties with these craftsman homes that are available here. This area also is known for just really low crime within Bonita Long Canyon. Just the crime rate is just proportionally a lot lower than I think anywhere within San Diego. And then just in terms of high schools, so Bonita Vista High is your high school if you live in this neighborhood, and I think it's rated about an 8 within grade school, so it's pretty good. All right, coming in at number 4 is San Miguel Ranch. And so, kind of with number 4 all the way down, we're going to start to get into some pretty nice neighborhoods. For whatever reason, these neighborhoods kind of are in the northern part of Chula Vista, and you could even just make a straight line kind of where these neighborhoods are from here. So again, number 4 is San Miguel Ranch. The general price range of houses here will run from about $700,000 all the way up to about $2.2 million. The average house here is about $1.1 million, but because the higher end is at $2.2 million, that's why San Miguel Ranch ranks at number 4 in this list. So just about the San Miguel Ranch community in general, this is going to be one of your higher priced neighborhoods within the Chula Vista community. It's considered on the edge of upscale Bonita. So right next to it is the city of Bonita, or the unincorporated part of Bonita, where you'll find some pretty high-end Bonita homes. So again, kind of what I mentioned, it's kind of on a strip, like a really long strip of just really nice houses, kind of on the northern front of Chula Vista, running through Bonita, then back to Chula Vista. This area is pretty interesting and pretty nice if you've ever been there. The terrain kind of has like a really nice, just spectacular backdrop, where residents have a pretty nice view of San Miguel Mountain and the Sweetwater Reservoir. It's all pretty picturesque over there. There's definitely a lot of nature since kind of the area to the north isn't really developed, and so you'll see just a lot of nature. You'll see the big mountain and the reservoir, and again, it's a pretty picturesque community. So when the developers actually built these communities, or this community back in 2000, they actually did make a commitment to keeping about 80% of the land kind of in its natural glory. which is kind of why you see, a lot more just nature over there, a lot more hiking trails in the San Miguel Ranch area. It is known just kind of be more cozy, like a more boutique kind of community feel within San Miguel Ranch. And it is kind of a secluded area within Chula Vista, especially as you go more north towards the 125, where again, you'll see a ton of nature and not as many just residential suburbs around the area. Um, so I will say the San Miguel Ranch area is generally not a gated community. I keep mentioning that because later on the list you will see a lot more just gated communities where there's a ton of privacy. Um, Most of these houses here were built around 2005, so they're going to be a little bit newer than the other houses on this list. And then you'll find, just some really big houses on the higher range of this list. Um, and these houses, again, on that $2.2 million range, will be big. They'll be about 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, kind of on average. Uh, in terms of square feet, again, this is going to be huge. It's going to be about 5,000 square feet in terms of the actual home. So not the lot, but the homes will be about 5,000 square feet. And these houses are just quite massive, and they have some pretty nice and sophisticated character to these houses. Kind of when you take a look at it, they are going to be your typical just Spanish style homes within Chula Vista. So your kind of typical Spanish style roofs with the red roofs and the stucco, but with some pretty nice details. So a lot of the homes within San Miguel Ranch will have tall archways, some pretty nice tower structures, wrought iron gates, just some pretty nice, just decorations and just pretty nice touches in these houses that are built within San Miguel Ranch. And some of these houses, especially on the higher end of the range, on the number four, that make this community number four on this list. Some of these houses do have some really nice views of San Diego. All the way from San Diego Bay up to Point Loma down to downtown San Diego. Kind of just because it's raised on top of a big hill. There's some really nice views in these higher end homes. And again, if you live in San Miguel Ranch, your assigned schools are going to be either Eastlake or Bonita for the most part. A lot of folks have a choice of which school they want to go to. And both Eastlake and Bonita Vista High are rated pretty highly on grade schools at about a 9 and an 8 respectively. So that's number four, San Miguel Ranch. All right, so let's get to number three on this list. So coming in at number three is the Rolling Hills Ranch neighborhood within Chula Vista, which includes the Bella Lago neighborhood, kind of in the northeast within Chula Vista. The general range of these houses will be about 700,000 to the high 2 millions. So that's kind of why it's ranked here at number three. But I will say we are kind of splitting hairs here. So number 3, 2, and 1 on this list can get pretty close, but I'm talking about the higher end range being at, just the high 2 millions is why I ranked Rolling Hills Ranch number 3 on this list. So this community does have a pretty exclusive, just kind of feeling to it, especially because it's kind of to the north. All of this area has been newly developed within the last 20 years. And just kind of in this area, any of these homes will be pretty big. They'll range anywhere from about 1,700 square feet for the Spanish style, just typical stucco homes that you'll find within Chula Vista, again with those red roofs, all the way up to about 5,000 square feet for these higher end mansions, kind of for the ones that I mean or that I'm talking about that will be in the high $2 million range. And then I guess even beyond that, so in about 2006, there was this clear story development that was created, and those homes will range about $2 million to $3 million, kind of in this Rolling Hills Ranch neighborhood. And again, for the higher end, just mansion style homes within this neighborhood, these will generally be about 5 bedrooms, 5 baths. Again, they're going to be humongous homes at about 5,000 square feet. Just like every other house on this list, expect the lots to be really big. Expect there to be existing pools or just really big open areas for you just to enjoy outside living. And then I guess in general, so this is getting to the point of the list where you'll find a lot of actually gated communities. So especially when you get to the $2 million, $3 million range, you will find these neighborhoods where there will be a gate. You can't just enter these neighborhoods. You'll either have to have kind of a garage opener style thing to open up a gate, or there'll be just a gate attendant there watching to make sure folks don't get into these neighborhoods. So if you are interested kind of in these higher end neighborhoods and you're interested in privacy, Rolling Hills Ranch definitely is an option if you're looking for kind of just a shared private gate with some of the other houses over there. The assigned school to Rolling Hills Ranch is going to be Eastlake. And again, Eastlake is going to rank pretty highly on grade schools at about a 9. I attended Eastlake High School, so I had a great time over there when I was there. It's definitely a really good school. All right, so coming in at number 2 is Rancho Del Rey. So again, Rancho Del Rey is kind of going to be on the northern part of Chula Vista. Again, kind of on this band here at the top. If you're looking at this map, where you'll find a lot of these houses to be for the higher end homes. The general range of houses within the Rancho Del Rey neighborhood will be about 600,000 all the way up to the low $3 million range. And again, low $3 million is why Rolling Hills Ranch is number 2 on this list. The average home within Rancho Del Rey is going to be about $900,000. So it's kind of odd, right? Because then you'll see homes that are in the low $3 million range, but just the average is about 900,000. So there's definitely just a broader spectrum of houses in the Rancho Del Rey neighborhood, especially as you compare it to the other neighborhoods at the top of this list. And just to give you just a little bit more background about Rancho Del Rey and just this neighborhood. So there was a lot of families that kind of flocked to this neighborhood back in the 1980s and 1990s, especially because it was, one of the earlier developments within Chula Vista, like the newer developments. And so because of that, you will notice that there is just kind of a more multi-generational feel to these neighborhoods. There's a lot of people that, I grew up with in this Rancho Del Rey neighborhood that are still there, right? Like, again, it's multi-generational. A lot of these people that I grew up with, um, their kids go to the same schools that we went to when I was a kid. So again, multi-generational is pretty typical within these neighborhoods, where you'll see a family there, and then their kids will stay in those houses, and I'll just keep continuing with the multi-generational feel of these neighborhoods. Um, Again, so these houses were built in about 1991. So again, like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of on the older end of East Chula Vista, where the HOAs and the community facility district taxes start to go away. But again, for the higher end of this range, so if you're looking just at those low $3 million range homes that I mentioned on the higher spectrum of this neighborhood, these, just like every other house on this list, is going to be really big in terms of just the square feet of these houses. Um, Generally, these houses will be about 7,000 or more square feet in terms of the actual house. And then the lots just go up from there, right? So if your house is 7,000 square feet in and of itself, the lot has to be really big, and you would expect it to be big, and they are. I think these houses will be huge. They're about six bedrooms or more, and will generally have about 7 bathrooms or more. And again, these higher end homes will be your humongous style mansions within the Rancho Del Rey neighborhood. There's some really nice, really big ones within there. And again, Bonita Vista is gonna be your assigned school if you live in this neighborhood, and that's rated about an 8 on grade schools. Okay, last but certainly not least is going to be the number 1 neighborhood on this list, which is going to be Eastlake. So kind of when I say Eastlake, Eastlake's a pretty broad, pretty big neighborhood because there's kind of just other just sub communities within the broader Eastlake neighborhood. You'll find Eastlake Trails, Eastlake Greens, Eastlake Woods, and Eastlake Vistas. But it's really the latter 2 neighborhoods that I mentioned within the broader Eastlake community that make Eastlake the number 1 community for most expensive on this list. To be specific, I mean Eastlake Woods and Eastlake Vistas kind of make this neighborhood the number 1 community for most expensive on the list. The general range of houses within Eastlake are going to be about just the mid 500,000s all the way up to the mid $4 million range. So that mid $4 million range for these cluster of houses is what makes Eastlake the number 1 most expensive neighborhood on this list. For those who aren't familiar with the Eastlake neighborhood, it was built back in the 1990s, so kind of similar to number 2 on this list, Rancho Del Rey. The Eastlake neighborhood was one of the first newer communities that were built within Chula Vista, again, back in the 1990s. And it was one of the first just master plan communities over there. So kind of on the lower to mid end of the range of houses within Chula Vista, You will find homes that no longer have any HOA or community facility districts, just because then they are it's been around for so long that those have gone away. And then just kind of within the Eastlake community, you will find everything in Eastlake. So this is the easternmost part of Chula Vista. It's pretty well developed at this point. So you'll find a lot of playgrounds, you'll find golf courses, clubhouses within a bunch of these communities. There's a large retail hub within Eastlake and just the area that I go to a lot. So residents never actually really need to leave this area if they don't want to. So you'll find everything there. You'll find Targets, you'll find Home Depots, Walmarts, Kohl's, etc. Kind of every just retail store that you would want is there. There's a pretty big mall, the Otay Lakes Mall, in this area. It's just really well built out at this point, and it's going to be one of your most established neighborhoods within the broader Chula Vista community on the east side. Um, I guess just within Eastlake, those two neighborhoods that I mentioned, Eastlake Vistas and Eastlake Woods. These are going to be your really just large mansion style homes, similar to what you'll find kind of in the Bella Lago area or Rancho Del Rey with those big mansion style houses over there. And so with these being big, there'll be about 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms or more in these houses. And then similarly, just like you would find in the other neighborhoods, especially the ones on the top of this list, these houses are large in terms of square feet. They'll be about 7,000 or more in terms of square feet for the higher end of this range. So getting into the mid $4 million range house, higher end part of Eastlake that I'm talking about. And again, like with all the other houses on this list, really large lots in these neighborhoods for the number one neighborhood on this list. And as you'd expect, the assigned high school here is going to be Eastlake High School, especially because it's the Eastlake neighborhood, which again ranks really highly on grade schools. Okay, to close this one out here. So these are the top 5 most expensive neighborhoods within Chula Vista. To re-summarize, tied at number 5 is Hilltop and Bonita Long Canyon, with houses at the higher end being at $2 million in those neighborhoods. Number 4 is going to be San Miguel Ranch, which has houses that go up to $2.2 million for the higher end. Number 3 is Rolling Hills Ranch. Number 2 is Rancho Del Rey, which is about the mid $3 million range for the higher end. And then number 1 is Eastlake, which has houses that go all the way up to the mid $4 million range. Again, especially in that Eastlake Woods, Eastlake Vistas community area. If you disagree with me, I'm happy to hear your opinion. Definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've seen these houses before. They're really big, really large. I'd love to live in one of these one day. And again, I am a local realtor to the Chula Vista area, just anywhere in San Diego. I'd love to see how I could help you, or I'd just love to see if I could answer any of your questions if you have any. My contact information will be in the description below. Again, call, text me, email me, set up a calendar invite. Happy to contact you any way that you feel comfortable. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.